Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be discussing the very concerning performance of console/controller Fortnite recently. About a month and a half ago, I made a video that was titled something along the lines of "Console and controller Fortnite are broken, and here's why." And in that video, I highlighted a bunch of the major issues that PS4, Xbox, and controller on PC players deal with on a daily basis. Around that time, the disadvantages of console players specifically was a really popular issue in the Fortnite community. So I kinda expected that due to the abundance of negative feedback Epic was getting from console players, major improvements to performance would be made by the beginning of Season 8. And now, here we are about a month and a half later, a full week into the new season, and you could argue that outside of maybe Season 1, Fortnite has never run worse if you play on console. New glitches are always popping up out of nowhere, certain glitches are reappearing after previously being fixed, and probably most frustrating are the glitches that are still around despite constant reporting from console/controller players. I really don't love making videos like this because it's basically just me hopping on the mic and complaining for 10 minutes, but like most things in life, complaining is how you get issues resolved. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so even though I'm not overly happy with the attention that Epic has given to console and controller Fortnite these past few months, I want to make one thing very clear. I don't think they're intentionally not giving console and controller Fortnite enough attention. I know that may sound pretty obvious, but there's some people out there that legitimately believe that Epic cares way more about the PC version of the game than they do the console version of the game. The thought process people have is something along the lines of, well, almost all the pros are on PC, so they give it the most support. Although I do understand the frustration that leads to ideas like that, Epic definitely wants console to run as well as possible. And in just the past few weeks, we have gotten some pretty important improvements. For example, Season 8 finally gave all controller players aim assist through all the windows in Fortnite. It's honestly pretty crazy that it took about a year and a half for that to happen, but it's definitely better late than never. The beginning of Season 8 also finally gave console players the ability to turn off motion blur, and also made some small improvements to the way shadows work. Again, something that probably should have been in the game months ago, but at least it's there now. And just before the beginning of Season 8, controller players were also given the ability to customize the dead zone on their controller for a little bit better precision of their sensitivity. Now, are these changes going to absolutely revolutionize the experience of console and controller players? For most people, probably not. But it is some really strong evidence that Epic isn't just leaving non-mouse and keyboard players out to dry. At the end of the day, Xbox and PS4 combined probably have more total players than PC, so from a business standpoint, it may even make sense to give console more attention. However, the small positive changes they've made over the past few weeks does not make up for the experience that console/controller players have had so far in Season 8. Let me start this video off by showing you guys a very simple 15 to 20 second long clip that I think really highlights how bad things have truly gotten. So what you guys just saw was a major issue for console players. I believe it was all the way back in Season 2 or 3. I remember it specifically being at its worst very shortly after Tilted was added into the game. But as I'm sure you guys could tell by the general graphics there, that clip definitely wasn't from Season 2 or 3. It was actually recorded on March 8th, 2019, which is the same day that I'm doing this video. That building not loading off spawn glitch specifically has been a major nuisance for a while now. It almost seems like a game of whack-a-mole. Every time it finally seems fixed for a while, it randomly pops back up after some update or hotfix. And the craziest part is, here we are about a year and a half into Fortnite, and based on what my console friends tell me, it's now worse than ever. Plus, even though it happens relatively quickly, it isn't just some little glitch. It basically gives every other player landing around you a 10 to 20 second head start on looting, which means you probably won't even be able to get a gun. Now I want to show you guys another console and controller glitch that's probably an even bigger issue than what you just saw. Mainly because this glitch isn't just limited to the very beginning of a match, it can happen anytime you're building. Just to give you a little background here, as I'm sure most of you guys know, a few months ago, controller players got a new setting called Builder Pro Builds Immediately. This setting is awesome because it made it so that you were able to place building pieces with one click instead of two. However, over the past few weeks, people have been making claims that when combined with turbo building, this setting no longer works. And to prove this, I want to show you guys a clip from a Reddit user and Twitch streamer named Disney07. He does a really good job explaining the problem, and I'll be sure to link his full video in the description where he goes into a bit more detail.
Hey guys, so I've discovered the turbo building glitch, the glitch that will make it to where when you try to place a piece, you'll get the preview, but the build won't actually place. This is a big deal on console. I don't know if this is a big deal on PC, but this affects almost every fight and is actually like a really big deal depending on how much you're switching between your build mode and between switching in and out of build mode. So as you can see, I have turbo build on. I also have build immediately on, so that way this is completely accurate to what most people do. As you can see, if I hit circle, it's build mode. If I hit L2, I build ramps. It's instant, all of that good stuff. However, there is a way where you can do this. See? Isn't that great? You just don't even place anything. What happens is, when you pull your build out, if you immediately hit a piece, like almost immediately, wait, then you will get the preview and not actually the build.
So as that clip just showed, some combination of turbo building, Builder Pro builds immediately, and pulling out your building menu causes building pieces to randomly not place. And that's because you're getting the piece preview instead of actually placing it, which shouldn't even be possible with Builder Pro builds immediately on. Unlike the first major glitch I showed you guys, which is incredibly obvious when it's happening, this is something that probably happens to you guys fairly frequently and you don't even know it. Pretty much everybody on controller uses Builder Pro, pretty much everybody uses turbo building, and I'm guessing by now pretty much everybody also uses Builder Pro builds immediately. So a very large portion of the player base is susceptible to a glitch that could single-handedly cause you to lose a build fight. However, as bad as that all is, those glitches are just a small part of what's making console so difficult to play in Season 8. And although I'm sure you console players out there have experienced at least some of these issues firsthand, I want to share a few comments from a Reddit thread with over 10,000 upvotes titled "Console is nearly unplayable at this point." I think it gives some good insight into just how bad things have gotten. Azuki FN says, "The game is so poorly optimized and performance is at an all-time low right now. You can feel your game and guns slow down in fights as the frame rate drops to high 20s and low 30s. Builds occasionally won't place, and your sensitivity feels off as you try to aim due to the slideshow going on your screen." Another user replied to that comment saying, "I thought it was just me. Every time I turn too fast, I'm experiencing hitching, people are phasing through my builds like they're made of water, it's becoming unplayable." And on top of all of that, a lot of people are convinced that some of the recent upgrades to the game have actually been reverted. This includes the change that made editing client-side, and the change that made the first piece placed when turbo building the same speed as all the other ones. There are conflicting reports about whether this is strictly a console problem or if it affects all platforms, but based on what I've seen, it actually is a real issue. So I'll be the first person to admit that a lot of the biggest issues console Fortnite has are going to be almost impossible to fix. For example, the max of 60 frames per second and the lag at the end of the matches, which have a lot of players in the final circle. Although there are definitely some smaller things that Epic could do to improve the problem a bit, most of it is simply due to the maximum capabilities of the console you're playing the game on. But the issues that we've covered in this video don't fall into that category. Every game has glitches, and for how much Fortnite is constantly trying to change and improve things, they're gonna happen. But the problem with glitches isn't when they appear in the game, it's when they appear in the game and then take way too long to actually get fixed. There are definitely a bunch of those in Fortnite, for example, the controller auto-shooting glitch, which has been around for a few months now, but maybe even worse than that is when the glitches actually do get fixed, but then begin to reappear for some mysterious reason. We're beginning to see more and more of that as time goes on as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down the comment section below. I want to know, if you're a console/controller Fortnite player, how has your experience been so far in Season 8? Have you been running into any of the glitches I mentioned in this video, or has the experience more or less been fine for you? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.